This video will take you through the Sheffield support system mapping that's being completed by the Changing Futures programme team. Before we show you the map, I'd like to provide some quick context about what this map is and isn't trying to do. It is a data-led piece of work, so it has limitations linked to data quality and data access. It is intended to outline a person's experience of navigating our support system. It is trying to demonstrate how different parts of the Sheffield system interact with one another, and this is built using referral and access data from a range of sources, which, as mentioned, has its limitations due to the above. It is generally focused on system elements, which means some services and teams are listed as collective entities. The map is not a list of all the support services in Sheffield, and does not include support around things like pro-social activity. It is not an indicator of how these services operate in practice, and it is not exhaustive. Any omissions are unintentional and can be added. Lastly, it is not providing a full picture. Qualitative and performance data are other ways to look at our support system. Now let's look at the map. The map has been developed using Kumu, which is an interactive piece of software, and I'd encourage everyone to look at this in their own time. A link to the map is available via our website. Before we look at the detail of the map, I'd like to explain what the colours, shapes and lines are. The person or people seeking support is represented by the dark blue circle at the centre of the map. Pentagons represent access points. These are the points in which people have to go through in order to receive support from any part of the Sheffield system. Circles represent support services or support elements, and lines represent the flow of traffic. For example, this could be directly from a person into a service, or it could be a referral from one part of the system to another. The dotted line represents parts of the systems that are atypical. For example, probation, police and prisons are not your typical support service, but they're an integral part of the Sheffield support network. Similarly, GPs are not directly accessible in that someone has to be registered at a practice in order to receive an appointment. On the map, the further something is from the person, the longer it takes on average to access. And lastly, the colours represent three things. The light blue tab represents whether or not a shape is an access point, the dark blue tab represents whether or not an assessment is required, and the rest of the colours indicate the type of support that you might receive when going through that part of the system. These can be found listed on the legend in the left-hand corner of the screen. As mentioned, the map is interactive and you can filter data in two ways. The first is by using your mouse to hover over any element within the map, and the software will automatically filter it to show where the connections are strongest. The second is by using the tabs at the bottom of the page. By clicking these, you can remove parts of the system and add them back in. So what does the map seem to be telling us? Firstly, that the support system is a complicated web of access points and referral routes. The second is that most access into services is made by individuals independently, and this suggests that services are typically signposting people rather than referring them. Perhaps this is a missed opportunity for information sharing between agencies and what the needs of an individual are and how they expect other agencies to meet them. Thirdly, if you're a person with multiple needs, you have to go through various different access points and through various different assessments in order to have your needs met. And lastly, some services are much more responsive and more able to meet the needs in a shorter time frame than others. As mentioned, the map is interactive and I encourage you to look at it in your own time. Again, the link is on our website and we'd welcome any feedback.